What you gonna do? Sucker me to death?
The Daleks are the masters of Earth.
Well, the Daleks are almost as old as Doctor Who itself.
Alert! Alert! You are the Doctor!
They've been part of Doctor Who's enduring success, without a doubt.
Exterminate!
They're just a brilliant design. They're just clever, and they're just sort of beautiful. And really, they haven't changed in either intent or design at all, really. They're still doing the same things now that they did back in the 60s.
I shall follow the primary order, the Dalek instinct to destroy, to conquer.
You can play scenes with a Dalek as you would play it with any actor. None of it's created in post-production or in CGI or through any kind of special effect, really.
I am Dalek Thay, Dalek Sec, Dalek Just, Dalek Khan.
So that's it. At last. The cult of Skaro. I thought you were just a legend.
They're very exciting to play opposite. You really, you feel like you're in a scene with the Daleks.
The Doctor will open the Ark.
The Doctor will not.
There is a certain essentialness to that being part of your time on a show like this, that you get to meet the Daleks.
Doctor, the enemy of the Daleks.
And also kind of thrilling, having grown up watching them on the TV, to suddenly be acting opposite them.
I will be the destroyer of our greatest enemy.
Then do it! Do it! Just do it!
In some ways, because they're an icon of Doctor Who the show, but they're also absolutely central to the character of the Doctor himself. Whenever they appear, it allows you to look at the Doctor in a new way.
How did you survive the Time War?
By fighting. On the front line. I was there at the fall of Arcadia. Someday I might even come to terms with that.
I think one of the very clever ideas that Russell came up with when he brought the series back was to have the Doctor without the Time Lords. He was the last of the Time Lords, so he was on his own in the universe. And there was this idea that the Daleks had been wiped out too, so he was the only survivor of this terrible war about which we know only shady details.
Your race is dead. You all burn, all of you. 10 million ships on fire. The entire Dalek race wiped out in 1 second.
You lie!
I watched it happen. I made it happen.
You destroyed us!
So you get this very clever balance of the lone Time Lord and the lone Dalek, the two survivors of this war, which helps us to understand more about the Doctor's character.
I am alone in the universe.
Yep.
So are you. We are the same.
It was inevitable that first series had to end with the Daleks coming back.
The Doctor will be exterminated!
And not just one of them, but millions of them. I don't know how many people didn't know the Daleks were coming at the end of Army of Ghosts.
That's not Cybermen.
The slow realisation of what's about to come out of that ball.
Oh my God.
Location Earth! Life forms detected!
It's sort of the perfect cliffhanger, really. The perfect Doctor Who cliffhanger. Daleks in Manhattan, which I always thought was a title which did exactly what it said on the tin, doesn't it?
The Empire State Building must be completed in time.
There's something of the Art Deco about them these days. The gold and the bronze. It just seemed to fit with that Depression era setting.
Time was 4 Daleks could have conquered the world. But instead you're skulking away, hidden in the dark, experimenting.
By reducing the power of the Daleks to a little band of 4, they needed inevitably to find a human accomplice.
You think like a Dalek.
Our
take that as a compliment.
They want to use him not just for what he can provide for them in the human world, but also for what he can provide for them genetically. The problem they encounter there is that as soon as you start mixing the gene pool, that sort of ruthlessness and that grim determination to survive becomes slightly confused by a slightly less logical mind.
Exterminate!
Stop! I come in! Stop!
I do not understand. It is the Doctor.
But I want him alive.
There's a lovely scene with Dalek Khan at the end of Evolution of the Daleks, where the Doctor comes to confront him and actually offers him help.
Khan, let me help you. What do you say?
Emergency temporal shift.
But that's probably about as long an in-depth a dialogue scene as you can have with a Dalek, which of course is why Davros works so well.
Welcome to my new empire, Doctor. It is only fitting that you should bear witness to the resurrection and the triumph of Davros, Lord and Creator of the Dalek race.
And in Davros, you've got all that simmering hatred and resentment.
This is my ultimate victory, Doctor. The destruction of reality itself.
And in this story, you've got resentment. His resentment is mixed with a slight resentment of the Daleks himself because he's not in charge.
You're not in charge of the Daleks, are you? They've got you locked away down here in the basement like what? A servant? Slave? Court jester?
We have an arrangement.
No. No, I've got the word. You're the Daleks' pet!
And all that just feeds into his kind of bubbling hatred.
So very full of fire, is he not?
I know that Elizabeth Sladen, who of course had been in that first Davros story back in 1975, found it quite peculiar and quite creepy at times because it just took her right back.
Davros. It's been quite a while. Sarah Jane Smith. Remember?
Oh, this is meant to be. The circle of time is closing. You were there on Skaro at the very beginning of my creation.
Probably that scene where Davros confronts the Doctor with all the blood that's on his hands, all the deaths that have been in his name, and all the warriors that he's created.
The man who abhors violence, never carrying a gun. But this is the truth, Doctor. You take ordinary people and you fashion them into weapons.
Which of course goes against all the Doctor believes in and yet is kind of true.
Behold your children of time transformed into murderers. I made the Daleks, Doctor. You made this.
It really has to be a character like Davros and the Daleks to have that much impact on the Doctor.
I name you forever! You are the destroyer of the worlds!
They are linked to Doctor Who forever, and I suspect forever will be, and quite right too.